Have you ever heard a story so spooky, so strange, that it makes an entire town believe in ghosts? Well, buckle up, because today we're diving into the haunting mystery of the Bell Witch, a tale that has terrified people for over 200 years. This isn't just a campfire story. This was a documented haunting that tormented a family and baffled a community. Our story begins in 1817, in a small farming community in Tennessee called Adams. Life was simple for the Bell family, led by patriarch John Bell Sr. They were respected, hard-working pioneers. But one day, everything changed. It started subtly. John Bell was inspecting his cornfield when he saw a strange animal lurking in the rows. He described it as having the body of a dog and the head of a rabbit. He shot at it, but the creature simply vanished. That same evening, the strange occurrences moved inside their home. The family started hearing faint knocking and scratching sounds on the outside walls of their log cabin. At first, they dismissed it as critters or the wind, but night after night the sounds grew louder, more aggressive. It sounded like someone was banging on the walls with a hammer or chains being dragged across the floor. The children would wake up terrified, claiming something was pulling their bedsheets off or plucking at their pillows. Soon, the invisible entity got a voice. It started as a faint whisper, like an old woman humming hymns. But the whispers grew into clear, articulate words. It would mock the family, sing loudly at all hours of the night, and even quote Bible verses word for word, sometimes 2 sermons at once, in perfect synchronization. This entity, which the family started calling the Witch, seemed to know everything about them. It knew their secret thoughts, their private conversations, and their deepest fears. The Bell family was at their wits' end. They were exhausted, terrified, and isolated. John Bell, a proud man, finally broke down and confided in his closest neighbor, James Johnson. Johnson suggested they form an investigation committee. He invited a group of trusted friends to stay the night at the Bell house to witness the phenomena for themselves. They came in as skeptics, but they left as believers. The entity put on a show for the visitors. It pulled off their blankets, slapped them, and spoke to them directly. When one man, out of bravado, cursed at the entity and threatened it, he was violently slapped by an unseen hand, so hard it left a red mark on his face. The news spread like wildfire. The small cabin in Adams, Tennessee, became an unlikely tourist attraction. People traveled from all over to witness the Bell Witch. The entity claimed its name was Kate Batts, a former neighbor of the Bells who believed John had cheated her in a land deal. On her deathbed, she supposedly swore she would haunt John Bell and his descendants forever. This spectral Kate seemed to have a particular vendetta against John Bell and his youngest daughter, Betsy. Kate, as the spirit was now known, tormented Betsy relentlessly. It would pull her hair, pinch her, and stick her with invisible pins. Betsy would often fall into strange fits, her body contorting as if she were being attacked by something only she could see. The spirit also seemed determined to ruin Betsy's happiness. Betsy was engaged to a young man named Joshua Gardner, whom she loved dearly. But the witch tormented them constantly, vowing she would never let them marry. The constant interference and stress eventually took its toll, and a heartbroken Betsy broke off the engagement. The entity's hatred for John Bell was even more intense. It would curse him, slap him, and promise his demise. John's health began to fail rapidly. He suffered from seizures and had trouble swallowing. The witch would gloat, screaming with joy during his episodes of pain. In December of 1820, after a long and agonizing illness, John Bell passed away. The family found a strange vial of liquid in the medicine cabinet. The witch's voice proudly proclaimed that it had given John a dose of the poison while he slept, leading to his death. To prove it, they tested the liquid on the family cat, which died almost instantly. At John Bell's funeral, as his body was being lowered into the ground, the witch's voice erupted into a loud, celebratory drinking song, chilling everyone to the bone. After John Bell's death, the entity's activity began to lessen. It told the family it would be leaving but promised to return in 7 years. And true to its word, in 1828, it came back, haunting John Bell Jr. and his family for a few weeks before disappearing again. Its final promise was to return one last time, 107 years later, in 1935. Whether it did or not remains a mystery. So, what was the Bell Witch? A vengeful spirit? A poltergeist? Or was it something else entirely? Skeptics have proposed various theories. Some believe it was a case of mass hysteria, where the power of suggestion made an entire town believe something that wasn't real. Others suggest it was an elaborate hoax, possibly orchestrated by Richard Powell, the local schoolteacher who was secretly in love with Betsy. The theory goes that he used ventriloquism and trickery to scare off her fiancé, Joshua Gardner, so he could have her for himself. And indeed, Richard Powell did end up marrying Betsy after her engagement was broken. But how could ventriloquism explain the physical assaults, the objects moving on their own, or the spirit's ability to know secrets that no one else could? And perhaps the most compelling piece of evidence is the sheer number of witnesses. This wasn't just the Bell family. It was neighbors, friends, strangers, and even a future president of the United States. Andrew Jackson, then a general, heard about the haunting and decided to investigate himself with a group of his men. According to legend, his wagon got stuck on the road to the Bell farm, and no amount of pulling could move it. A disembodied voice then announced it would let them pass, but that it would see them later that night. Spooked, Jackson and his men allegedly fled, with Jackson reportedly saying he would rather fight the entire British Army than face the Bell Witch again. The story of the Bell Witch has been passed down for generations. It's the only haunting in American history officially recognized by a state where a person's death was attributed to a spirit. The Bell Witch Cave, located on the former Bell property, is a popular tourist spot where visitors still report strange noises, disembodied voices, and feelings of being touched. The mystery remains unsolved. Was Kate Batts a real, vengeful ghost who carried out her curse from beyond the grave? Or was it a clever, cruel hoax that got out of hand? The people of Adams, Tennessee, both then and now, seem to have their answer. For them, the witch was very, very real. The story serves as a chilling reminder that sometimes the most terrifying things are the ones we can't explain. What do you think? Let me know your theories in the comments below. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this dive into one of America's most famous hauntings, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next video. Stay curious, and see you next time.